Welcome to the show, everybody. I couldn't be happier to be with you this morning. I've got a huge day ahead of me because tonight is Sexy Liberal Save Democracy Tour's final show before the elections
Oh,
and before I launch the offshoot pirated version with me, John Fugelsang, and Frangela, where I drag them all over the country doing stand-up leading, for the next 2 years, trying to make sure 2024 is rock solid. That said, um, I don't understand this whole take your foot off the gas thing that people tend to do. Eh, can we at least agree on one thing that
Lex.
voting is never a revolutionary act.
Mm,
Voting is constant gardening to keep weeds from
yes.
overtaking all of your foodstuffs. Do you hear me? Hear me now and listen to me later. This is super important for people to grasp because I don't know why they don't. It's surprising to me. Voting
Sincerely.
voting in your mind from this point on should more align with proper nutrition and exercise and whatever health regimen your doctor might put you on after you had a major Trump attack and your gallbladder had to be removed because you let it become too Trumpy for 4 years. And your
Trump
doctor
attack.
says,
That
I
sounds
prescribe
horrible.
I prescribe 10 years of regular voting for sane people just there to do their job. I don't want you to rebuild your country from scratch every 4 years. You certainly don't need to do it every two.
How
Somebody,
about it?
Prof said, love voting and I'm clean. Yes, voting clean is important. You got to eat, like they say, eat clean when you're working out. You want like simple solution foods, right? Nothing too
Yes.
complicated. All right. I I know that we as a culture have been raised in a vacillation between sort of rock and roll rebellion, um, standing up to a deep CIA plot that's running the whole world, Alex Jones kind of theory of how the Earth works, mixed with trying to get all the other stuff in your life done at the same time, which makes
It would be
normal
so
stuff.
much easier.
Oh, isn't it? Which makes
It would
life.
be like if everything was just like if you could just label everything a conspiracy, them against us.
Yeah, you know what I think you're absolutely right. You're onto something there, Johnny Million, as you often
Mm-hmm.
are. That there is a psychological benefit to it's out of my hands. The
Yeah.
conspiracy is so big, and the craziness and the behind the scenes workings is so, like, obviously it's corporations and the CIA and the KGB and the Illuminati and the Pentaveret are all working hand in glove. And little old me, what can I
What
do?
could I possibly
So
do?
maybe I'll just keep my head down and try and focus on, I suppose, small cultural issues that freak me out. That seems to be how they're jerking the leash on the
Definitely.
on the Republican side, right? So, um, the problem with it is that it's a massive oversimplification that is incredibly unhealthy and useless to actually having a functioning society or governance because it sets everybody at everybody's throats. It becomes this kind of running, you're running to try and catch up with your side while running from the other side all the time.
Yep.
You never get a chance to take a breath and go, how would I actually solve this? If this was a problem in front of me that I was responsible for, how would I do it? Well, one of the things you would do in every situation, and I'm trying desperately to think of a time when you wouldn't, but from a regular, like, oh, the birthday cake didn't show up, and the party starts in 10 minutes, and kids will be very upset, kind of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
To you wake up, you're in Quantum Leap, and you're the third person in the front of the line in the Donner Party marching through the snow. There are a series of things that you would have to do to fix those problems, and one of them is to not put any lunatics in charge of any crucial endeavors. That would be the first. If you really
That's
think
like
there's an emergency,
self-preservation number one.
exactly. If there's a situation where, all right, we need no extremists and lunatics. We don't need the most heretical. We don't need the people, who will, who are always on about something else to be put in charge. All right, somebody needs to secure water. Somebody needs to secure food. Somebody needs to make sure the compass is right and we're walking in the right direction. That's what you would do if you're really in an emergency. Now, the question of whether we're in an emergency or not, or this is the natural machinations of an economy and a society in human life at this point in history, is a debate for another time. But let's just take these people at their word that this is the worst and most, oh my God, it's never been so horrible ever, right? Then you would absolutely go, all right, well, let's look back. Sit for a second. Everybody shut up and let's figure this out. Let's put the people in charge of the baseline stuff that have had the most success in the past. Don't put anybody in charge who's like, I got a new idea. What if maybe rocks do contain water? Did you ever even, question, like we've been told not to question
really ruled that out.
Right. Do we really trust that, the scientists? Fauci says there's no rocks, there's no water in rocks, but, have you tried licking one in a long time? Come on, right? So those people.
Amazing super chats and new memberships, by the way. I had one hand trapped by a cat.
That happens. Oh, well, we will, how about we read those at the top of the next break and just say thank you. Wonderful. Thank you guys for the support.
They disappear for me. Do they stay for you?
I can find them. I think. I can scroll backwards. Yeah. And try to find them in the haze of words going through my chat. I also don't have the alert box set up in here, so I have to add that as well. But and I will. I'm basically building the show on the fly today because the piece of software was acting a fool. But one of the things I would say, and this applies across the political spectrum, is that at no point, if you woke up and you were like magically transported through time or a VR experience into the Donner Party, and there was really a situation where really you were in danger and people's lives were on the line, you would say, you know what, Marjorie Taylor Greene, go find a clean source of water. Herschel Walker, figure out which direction we're heading using either stars or the rising and setting of the sun, and make sure we're headed in the right direction. And then Kevin McCarthy, all the supplies that we have, do an inventory to make sure that we are effectively using what supplies we have, and staying within our limits. There is no situation going on, as past as prologue, that you would do that. And the reason you wouldn't do that is because it's too important and it's a crucial emergency.
Right.
You also, I would argue, would not turn to these people for nutritional or meditation advice.
Cat's about to throw up, pal.
Oh dear. Yes, we got to take a break. Cat time. Perfect timing, I will say. We got to take a break. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
She's making the noises.
As you do. All right. We'll be back right after this. I don't believe it. I think it's just using it as an excuse. I think that's his belly gurgling. We'll be back.